Welcome back to BSLIVE. In this episode, I will be doing some improvisation 3D modeling. So it's totally stress-free 3D modeling. And I will be using the simplest tool out there. It's this guy over here. Add cube or add other objects. But I usually like to work with just the cube. You can also use cylinder or cone or sphere. But the cube, just the cube is actually pretty fine. You can definitely just stack things if you want to, so it's totally up to you. This is also something that I have done in the past. It's like a 3D therapy. You can actually combine this technique with box cutter or grid modeler. So box cutter works in the object mode, grid modeler works if you want to add details, it works in edit mode. And yeah, if you imagine like the tribes in the past must have been working with stones to make art, and this is actually something that we can do ourselves in 3D, of course. So making like just a basic sculpture like this. Of course, you can make something that's a little bit less abstract, but this is, for example, let's say this is just the basic one, an example. Say you're happy with this. I'm gonna hide everything. I'm gonna take a screenshot using on a Mac. You can take a screenshot like this, just as an example. And you can use this image.space if you don't have diffusion B. I'm gonna show you in a bit. Okay, this is we'll be using image to image, and you can adjust the prompt scale. But let's say we start with this image and we just say, okay, masterpiece of the most beautiful sculpture in the universe, intricate detail. So we just say something like that. On my computer, because I'm using Mac M1, we have diffusion B. We can use similar thing, image to image. And it needs to load the model when it first started, and this guy is still working. I think while it's doing its job, we can actually come back to this guy. If this is not as interesting as you might think, you can join all of them and just maybe remesh. Okay, remesh, turn on adaptive, and play around with the voxel size. You might have a better shape. Okay, there's really like endless thing you can do with this. Let's say you're happy with this. You can actually add sculpting. You can start doing sculpting, and I think draw. I like using draw and then turning on dynamic topology. We don't need to use symmetrical because our sculpt is not symmetrical, but you can start adding unusual details. You know, you can get really close and start just sculpting like a free form. I really like free form. After all, somehow, yeah, of course you have the most freedom with the free form. It's not like modeling a car or something. You're totally free. Yeah, start to adding detail. It's a sculptor. if you really want to, of course, you can start just doing a paint on the vertex color itself, just doing a paint. So instead of just like a stone like this, like super basic, let's save this very quickly. Sculpture. Right click, shade smooth if you want to. Pick a camera angle, take a screenshot. So we are working with AI. Yeah, okay, this one. It's AI imagination is kind of interesting. This is also based on the prompt itself. So we have this sculpture again. We can type in whatever. Masterpiece of the most beautiful sculpture made by alien from planet Earth. Intricate detail. Wabi sabi. I don't know, just add some random prompt and then we can tell it to generate 10, for example. Now it needs to load a model of that size and then try to interpret this. You can also try to interpret this yourself. File save as. If you want something that's less abstract, of course you can create like a robot looking. I think I've done this in the past. Let's see. We can do texture painting. We can go back to sculpt mode and use the crazy cloth filter. Okay, I really like this. Inflate. It gives a form that's unusual, and I mean you can only do this in 3D. In real life, of course, yeah, you cannot just simply do this. Maybe you can use balloon, but yeah, I really like this. Starting to get into shape. Of course, you can actually end up with sculpture like this, and then you kind of you can interpret this. Okay, what is this looks like? Oh, it looks like a person or something. This guy is still doing his job. This one is also start to work. It's gonna take around half a minute to generate something. Rerun this. Oh, of course you need to save it and then you create like hundreds or thousands interpretations of AI, and then you kind of, okay, that's probably the directions I want to go. Maybe that's not it. So we have something completely different here. What can we do next? We can subdivide or remesh. Remesh is always good to do time to time again, so that we have more details. And then we can start sculpting. So if you want to add vertex paint that's fast, use sculpt. Okay, use this paint and start painting on this guy, because the paint in the sculpt mode is the fastest. The fastest on any 3D software. Okay, maybe in real life you can do something like this using real stone, things like that. Yeah, you can add some smoothing, or you can flatten some areas. Oh, actually you wanna keep that details. I actually quite like that contrast between smooth and rough. Maybe this is about someone's life, and then you go back to paint. Yes, continue painting. So maybe use a stronger color. What would be nice in Blender? Usually, I probably will use iPad and Nomad Sculpt or Procreate just to do like a quick projection of image. That's also add a lot of details. But in the case of what we are doing, we can just take a screenshot or make a proper render, for example, to have a proper light. Okay, this guy is missing all the color because we need to add it. Okay, now we have something. Create light. Come back to this guy here. See, okay, this one is probably a little bit too strong. We can come back to our original image actually and tell it, okay, make it closer to our original sculpt. This one is also doing some crazy things. Let's stop that. But I don't mind this. All this sculpture is just to help with our brain. Okay, that's kind of what I want to create. Okay, let's come back to this. Splash it with color. A little bit more mysterious. If you want this guy to have more abstract looking, you can actually start maybe just projecting UV, give it a different material. You can use something like Sanctus library and then find kind of like a pattern that you like, or you can create texture using AI itself, and maybe you end up with something that's interesting. Stylize. That's kind of cool. Apply material. Okay, switch to cycles, it says. Okay, switch to cycles. Cycles is actually faster on the Mac. I'm just using iMac. Okay. Right, this one is continuously generating something that's really intricate. It's totally the opposite of our blocking, our block of whatever here. Okay. I think this one is relying so much on the UV, so you probably need to do UV really quickly. Smart UV. Okay. Now the result will be different. It's using this material, kind of like a pink gloop material. Yeah, this one I don't mind either, actually. Just the color that we need to bring back. Let's go back to the shader. Select this object. UV mapping. Okay. What is this actually? Yeah, we can. It's like a sans, I think. underwater color. Okay. Oh. This, if you render this out, already kind of looking interesting, more than what I imagine it could be. This one is keep generating all this abstract looking unusual art. This one also. Wow, we have so many ideas right now, right? Take a screenshot. We're definitely gonna end up with unlimited numbers of ideas. Or this could be the base of your art if you like to continue in 2D. This one is running online, right? This one is running offline. Let's stop this. Clear this image. And yeah, let's do this one. Beautiful sculpture made by outsider artist. Piece of the most beautiful sculpture. Yeah, you can actually get really creative with the prompting. In fact, maybe I can ask Chat GPT and ask this guy, write me a poem describing the most beautiful sculpture in the universe. Write me a poem describing the most beautiful sculpture in the universe. Yeah, we need to wait. It's yeah, the ChatGPT is currently overloaded probably. Hopefully we get something, and so we can use this output and then paste it into something like diffusion B, and then it's gonna generate something. Of course, yeah, it's a thing with of course our brain loves detail so much. So if you look at something like this, oh okay, it's like too simple, right? What is this? But if you look at this, your brain started to get stimulated, and you start to imagine things. Okay, that's looking like, you know what, whatever, like an animals. I really like this design. If you like this design, you can actually save it and reuse it as image to image. Yeah, the AI chat is broken. Write me a poem. Write me a text describing the most beautiful sculpture in the universe. Yeah, the other day it was a lot faster, and yeah, I really like this one. So for example, I could actually use one of the design and then try to project it back into my sculptor, but it's better to actually starting to sculpt it this way, following this design, because it's I don't know, there's just something about this. You have infinite numbers of possibilities. You can type whatever and then you get whatever result indefinitely. So yeah, that's basically the whole process. You can pick a different angle. Of course, it's the AI look at it from different angle and then interpret and make dream. I like the word hallucinate. Okay, the AI hallucinate and make creations based on whatever you use as an input, and you can end up with unlimited number of design. I really like this. Of course, being able to make this back into 3D, and it's suddenly gonna be something else completely. Sometimes you don't need to follow the concept absolutely, but you know, just it's a really like an eye candy. It's almost like a mind inside a dream, you know. Yeah, this one is still, you know, grayscale whatever, because we started with a grayscale image. This one is more colorful, and the AI really love it. So it's generating all this abstract result. Okay, yeah, I think you get the point. I could do this all day actually. Maybe I should. But anyhow, that's the process. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.